Should I care what other people think? It's kind of a trick question. I mean, on one hand, we want to live for an audience of one. I mean, in everything that we say, everything we think, everything that we do, we want to just live to make God proud. Like every single day, in every single situation. And we don't really want to worry what anybody else thinks. But at the same time, there is another perspective. And that's kind of what we want to talk to you about today.
Yeah, so we want you to think about how people perceive you as a follower of Christ. Maybe coworkers, friends, family, but more specifically, why your actions are even more important than your words. We're going to get into that today. Check this out. A good way to illustrate this point is to look at what Jesus said in Matthew 5 and verse 16. He said this, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works," or your actions, "and glorify your Father in heaven."
Okay, interestingly enough, when I read this scripture, I always think about the fact that he didn't say that they would hear your words.
Right.
And glorify your God, your Father in heaven. He said that they would see. your good works or your good deeds. So what he was saying is
good.
that our actions probably hold more weight and value than our words.
Right.
So today we're going to give you 3 reasons why we believe that our actions really are more important than our words.
That's right. Reason number 1 is this: your world is watching.
Yep.
Now, what do we mean by that? Well, again, as a follower of Jesus Christ or as a believer, we tend, and you covered this kind of in the intro, we don't really want to get too caught up in what people think about us, but we really do. When you think about the fact that everybody's watching us, and it's almost like you've been placed at center stage. Everybody's watching your life. They're watching.
It's like you're living in a glass house.
In a glass house.
It's like that phrase,
Everybody's watching. You talk to a lot of people who don't go to church, and I think the biggest beef that people have is that they feel like believers are hypocrites.
Right.
They feel like, man, they go to church and they act like they're this, but they're really that. They might act like that they're good and their life is all together, when really I know behind the scenes what they're truly living like. I know how
what their true colors are.
What their true colors are when you look beneath the surface. So I think the biggest thing that we fight against as believers is just really trying to prove to the outside world or those looking from the outside in that we're not hypocrites, that we really are the real deal. I think people are continually just watching believers, and they're just, they just want to see some evidence. They want to see some proof that you're authentic, that you really are who you say you are, that you really are following Jesus like you claim to be. Yeah. And they're going to be able to gauge that by looking at your actions, by looking at your lifestyle. So it really is important that we have this awareness that others are watching.
Right. And that's more what it is. It's not like we have to live and it's like, I have to be perfect in every situation. I can never say or do the wrong thing. Like, that's impossible.
And we're not saying be something you're not.
Exactly. But what we are saying is be aware that people are watching you. And obviously, the longer you are a believer, if you're a brand new baby believer, my goodness, give yourself some grace. You're going to have those moments, but as we grow,
be aware.
Yes,
be
and let's mature through it, okay? So that brings us to reason number 2, that our actions are more important than our words. And number 2 is simply this: your conduct, my conduct, it validates your character. And what I mean by that is literally how you handle everyday situations. As you know, people are watching you. They're watching to see all of those trials that come in your life, every day, from somebody having road rage to situations at work where maybe they either see you have integrity or you don't, or you are being asked to do something that is not integral or goes against your values or goes against your standards. And in your mind, you can just hear the enemy saying, hey, your boss is telling you to do that. Just do that. But at the same time, you're thinking, wait a second, like that goes against, this is wrong, right? And we've been in those situations.
Yeah.
And people are watching that, and it literally, whatever decision you make, it validates your character. And let's be honest, people are sometimes annoyed with you. Okay? I remember
oftentimes coworkers that are not believers are annoyed.
Like you're trying to be better than they are, one-upping people, and that's not what it's about. It's about you being the same consistently in your walk with God, in the walk in front of others, in your home, in the church,
that's integrity.
at the workplace.
That's doing what's right in public and in private, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter who is watching or not watching.
Absolutely.
It's integrity.
I think about, a few years ago, it's been quite a few years at this point, but you and I both were working at a corporation, and it was a secular corporation. And I'll never forget that one of the guys who was kind of a boss figure came in one day, and we were in a meeting, and he just kind of slipped in this comment, and you weren't even in that meeting, but he basically just said, I'm a believer. And he said, I just have always felt like in corporate America that it's really best to kind of separate those worlds. Mm-hmm. When you come to work, be professional, be at work, and kind of, don't really push your faith on people. Leave your faith at home. Yeah. I about fell out of my chair because I was
that's
like,
not us. That's not how we're wired at all.
And I said, man, I'll just be really honest with you. Myself and Brad, we're not doing anything. Never would we want to push our faith off on anyone. I said, and honestly, at that point,
especially in a condemning way or a critical way. Yeah.
And we were not like witnessing to people. Yeah. We were just living. We weren't even inviting people to church.
We were just operating.
We were just living our life the way that we live. And yes,
with integrity.
I'm gonna have integrity, which was one of the issues, right? I'm not gonna lie, not gonna cheat, not gonna do anything that's not integral. I just remember thinking, wow, I wouldn't have known, number one, he was a believer.
Which is sad.
Because obviously he checked his faith at the door. And what we're saying is, guys, people are watching you, and our actions validate our character. I want people to know every day, in every situation, I love Jesus. God wanted his people to stand out. Everything in the Old Testament pointed towards this, from the way they ate, the way they dressed, the way that they acted. You come into the New Testament, you have Jesus on the scene, and he says, hey, you need to shine. Yeah. Let your light shine in a dark world. And so everything points to be different.
Stand
out. Which leads us into that third
point, and that is that our actions point people to Jesus. When we step into those situations that are so difficult, they're always watching. Yeah. They're always watching to see when we're pressed, when we're squeezed, what's gonna come?
Right.
What's gonna come out? Yes. Are we going to react and respond naturally the way most people would? Mm-hmm. Because when people, non-believers, see others responding in a way that is inconsistent with what they're used to seeing, they say to themselves, this is not normal. Right. This is unique. This is different, which causes them to recognize, then this person is like cut from a different mold, right? So you say you're
not
a believer,
not
like everybody else. So your actions have so much weight because it brings validation really to who Jesus is. Yes. It points to God. Here's what it does. Yeah. It causes people to recognize, okay, whoa. This isn't normal. The way this person is reacting, the way this person is responding, the way this person is living, the way this person talks, the way this person behaves is inconsistent with what I'm used to. And
what we expect.
And with what we expect.
In those situations.
And so there must be something to their claim. Yep. That there is a God living inside of them. When you're squeezed, what comes out, right? Yeah.
When you go through the trial and you literally have peace, and people are watching you at the hospital, or they're watching
when your family
you
member
when you're
and their
struggling.
health is failing. They shouldn't be acting like that. You should be freaking out. You should be cursing God right now.
Right, and you're not.
And what is different about you?
They see that they see that fruit, they see that evidence in your life that God has a real, you have a real relationship with him, and it's the fruit of the Spirit that is being produced.
Yeah. I want to begin to wrap it up by sharing a different version of Matthew 5 and 16 today. And this comes from the Amplified version. This is just so very cool. Check this out. Here it is. Here's another way to put it. You're here to be a light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives by opening up to others. You'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father who's in heaven.
Thanks for joining us today. Hey, we want to just encourage you, if you have a question or you have a comment, drop it down below. We want to respond and we want to engage with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you found value today, we would just ask that you just like this video and subscribe to our channel. Every week, you'll get a new talk from us on just practically how do you live this thing we call the Christian life. We